Hello, everybody. My name is Sweet Pea,
And I'm Pretty Bird.
and together we are Pretty Sweet. Welcome to Pretty Sweet Distractions, where we speak unfiltered about life, love, poetry, and prose. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the distractions in the form of open discussion on artful words. Now, for the rules. We are grown up people talking about grown up things using grown up words. If you're usually offended, this may not be your bouncing tea bag, cup of tea, or whatever floats your boat. We like to have fun, poke fun, and generally have a great time. If you're down to be distracted, come, hang out, chat, call, like, follow, share, leave your opinions on our opinions. Click all the hearts and show us some love. We have live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 o'clock Eastern. And tonight is all about going back to school. And that is when all the kids that kept you on your toes all summer take time to breathe and take a moment for yourself. Or is it really? Between helping with homework assignments and making cookies for the class and all those extra after school expectations, can we really enjoy the solitude of our own company? I mean, if we look at all the things, first we have to acknowledge that summer is over. Even though kids go back to school so early, they go back like the first week of August. So summer really isn't over, and they're very anxious because they don't want to go to school when it's still 100 degrees outside. And we're fighting that. But, is the chaos really over for moms? Absolutely not. Um, I know for me, I was lucky enough that my kids went to school a little later, closer to the first part of September. So it wasn't so bad. I don't understand the first week of August, but that's say la vie. It is what it is. But I had to fight them, going clothes shopping and getting the 2-page school supply list. Again, it wasn't as bad as what it is now, where you're providing their paper and you're providing their Kleenex and you're providing, paper towels and cleaners and all of that. That's crazy to me, but I'm doing that now for my grandson, and I've seen his list. Um, and so all the things that we have to get ready for. And I used to love to go school shopping for shoes and all of that. That, of course, that would be me. My brothers hated it. I loved it. Um, my grandson doesn't particularly like it, but I still love to do it. You just have all of that going through. So you just wait for that day where, okay, they're out, they're gone, they're in school, and now I can sit back and relax. And then you get the second letter that you get the first day of school with, oh, hey, we need volunteers for this, we need volunteers for that, we need the library monitor, need the classroom monitor, we need you know the parents coordinator for this, or we've got this field trip coming up, are you going to be a chaperone for this or that, or we're doing this fundraiser, or we're doing that fundraiser. Are you signing up? Are you signing up? Are you signing up? And then you have the people that, I know it's not called the PTA anymore, but they're calling you. Are you going to support what we have going on this year? There's camp, there's band, there's track, there's all of these other things that everybody, they need volunteers for, because if we don't get the volunteers, we're not going to get it done. We're selling, cookies and crackers and magazine subscriptions, and hey, do you own a business? It just keeps going on and on and on. So is the chaos done for us? Is the chaos done for moms and dads and all of that? Wait a minute, where was summer life? Give me back the summer life when we just packed up and went to the beach, or packed up and you went over to somebody else's house for the day. I don't know if summer was the hard days where they were home and I had to deal with them. I'm thinking school is harder. It's so much harder. There's so many more demands. What are you doing? Summer life was just maybe it was constant snacks and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and refereeing siblings and endless activities. And it was the emotional and physical toll of having kids on my back all the time. But there's also all those great sweet moments, when they're done, swimming, and they are kind of got that little exhausted look in their eyes, and they're tired, and they curl up their little tiny bodies up next to you, and they're all warm from the sun, and they just kind of sleep. Or you get to watch movies with them because it's too hot outside and it's all cool, and you pull the blinds and it's kind of dark, and you just get to watch Disney movies or do the Disney sing-alongs, or there's a lot going on in the summer. So is it really time to rest during school? Because let's not forget, we have tons of homework to do too. You've got, the books you have to read, and even now you have books to read over the summer. um, Back to school is a whole different kind of life now. It's so much involvement, so much going together. And of course, you could be that lazy parent that does nothing and just goes, what letter? I didn't get no letter. What? What do you mean you got a field trip? I don't care. I don't know. I thought I signed it for you. You could be that parent.
I mean, they could just be busy, not necessarily lazy.
Well, you could just be busy, but you know what kind of parent I'm talking about. So, Pretty Bird, how chaotic is back to school for you? Because I
I
know
hate summer. I 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 hate summer. So I like back to school. Um, and it's not that I don't like spending time. Like I had 4 of them, and they spread across 11 years. So uh, when the bigger ones want to be teenagers and the little ones are barely starting kindergarten, and it's a big mess of, keep them out of my room, and I don't want to have to wash them so you can go to the bathroom and all of this stuff. And they all want to be run around 4 different places and for me. So, before I start getting into my own personal shit, I just want to say that a lot of what you mentioned, it seems to lean towards stay-at-home moms, not so much the ones that still have to work through the summer. They don't get to spend that with their kids and still have to have the camps and the daycares and all of that. And the ones that can't volunteer, that still work full-time and can't do all the things. I mean, I'm assuming that it's just their kids that are at a different place because they're working 40 hours a week and whatnot. I didn't. And so it was full time where I was responsible for outside of weekends. I was responsible for dinner and an after school snack and all the things that all the extracurricular activities. But in the summer, it's all day, every day. And then they don't want to ever freaking sleep because it's freaking summer. There's no school, and you cannot convince them that they still need to sleep because they're kids and they're growing kids. And I don't need to sleep. I ain't doing nothing tomorrow. And so they're cranky all the time because they refuse to sleep. And the more they stay up, the more they eat. And then their dad traveled more during the summer than any other time of year. And he was gone generally more than half the summer on a regular basis, and he had a very dangerous job. So I had that anxiety on top of the crazy kids, on top of um, I don't want them to sit home all day, so I had to find things for them to do, which then included all the planning and making sure if I'm taking them down to the local watering hole where the manatees sometimes are, that are we going to include fishing on this side, swimming on that side, and this one over here doesn't swim, but those do. And so I need to have all the changes of clothes and all this stuff. And are we going to grill, or am I going to go there with just my kids, or are we inviting a whole bunch of families to spread the stuff, because it takes a village. It's a lot, and the anxiety of having their dad have a dangerous job um hovers over all of that. And when I say dangerous, I mean extremely volatile, dangerous job when he's out of town. So there wasn't ever a whole lot of rest for me, and there wasn't a whole lot of downtime. And, if they're not sleeping, I sure the hell am not sleeping. Not that I sleep well anyway. So summer was really, really stressful. When all of the dad's thing for the summer was done, it wasn't until the third or fourth week in July. So I had basically a week to go with all four children to get to all to the three different schools, to get all of their class lists, buy all of their school stuff, do it during tax-free week. Otherwise, you're spending a stupid amount more money, and all of the things. I freaking hated it. Hated it, hated it. Loved the anticipation, loved the cuteness. It was a lot of stress. And was, 3 and 4 stores a day, sometimes 3 days in a row, to make sure everybody got what they needed, because everybody's going shopping. They run out of sizes, especially the bigger sizes, and I grow giants. And so it was not fun. Do I miss it? I do not. But my youngest is a senior in high school now, and it was very much, "Oh, this is gonna be the last one of these." And I tried to have that bittersweet moment of, "Oh, but he's my baby." And I have that about, this is his last first day of school. This is his last marching band season. I did not have that at all for, this is my last time going school shopping. I was just like, "Woohoo, yay me." And so I prefer them in school. I prefer them in school because it keeps their minds busy. I know they're going to end up, having some kind of sleep. They had a regimen. Even if this one had Cub Scouts on Tuesday, if these two had Cub Scouts on Tuesday, that one had Boy Scouts on Thursday. And I had to take everybody with me all the time because, dad's out of town. And then you had to work around band practice for the middle school, band practice for the high school marching band, and all the competitions, all the Saturday practices, all of the camping trips. But these things are on a calendar that you work around, and you know what's coming. To me, there's a lot less anxiety and stress knowing what's coming months out than people springing, "Can Johnny come over for the weekend?" on a Friday. And then when you go to call Johnny's parents, they're like, "Oh yeah, that they said that it was all right with you 2 weeks ago. We won't be back for 4 days." Oh hell no. You are a grown ass person. You need to talk to the other grown ass person, because I'm not watching your kid for 4 days. I did not plan for that, you know? And so I don't like last minute, on top of the worst time of year for me with all my anxiety and stress about, the volatile job. And so yeah, I prefer going back to school. I do. I prefer the routine of being able to do what needs doing without everybody at my ass. So if I need to go grocery shopping, if I need to go and run errands and pay bills and, bathe and all of the things, that I don't care how old your kids are, they will always find that moment when you're in the bathroom because they can't see you, to want to ask you questions. So when they're not here, I get to do all my things in peace, and I appreciate that. And I never really minded the homework. I mean, when there was the four of them, I was the kind of mom that struggled to make sure everybody had at least 15 minutes of one-on-one me time outside of schoolwork. So they would kind of, I would go to my bedroom, and they would cycle in one at a time. I would give them all snacks, and then they would cycle in one at a time to tell me about their day. And then while their brothers were doing homework, the one would cycle in, and go, that would be the routine. So when they were all done, they'd all be in the middle of their homework, and I would go sit out there and be on the computer or do whatever out there with them, and ask them if they had any questions. Let me look at your stuff. And it wasn't until they would lose their mind, because somebody always loses their mind when they get stuck on a bit of homework and their brain just completely freezes, that I'm like, "Oh, okay, you need to walk away from that for like 10 minutes, and we'll do it again in a minute." But you don't get to that kind of calm without a whole lot of fight for years in between. So I do prefer the routine of them being back in school, much above all the stress and chaos of um, summer, that doesn't have any kind of strict routine at all. So everybody wants to be pulled at four different directions last minute, and I'm meant to drive the entire world all over the universe, because that doesn't work for me. but especially since I have no patience, not for my kids, but because of that high anxiety that lingers close to the surface because of their dad's volatile job. So you're like, I love summer. And I'm just like, no, it is my nemesis. And I live in the land of eternal swamp ass. So it's mosquitoes and the air just is gritty. It is uncomfortable.
Well, I was lucky because I worked a full time job, but my job was either like 6 to 4s, 7 to 3s, and sometimes I had to work late at night. So the majority of the day, like by the time they got out around noon, I wasn't like part of their lives for a couple of hours. So during the summer, I was, hang out with them the majority of their waking time. So I was blessed that way because I was, like I said, early mornings into the mid afternoon. And when they're not getting up till noon or around that time, I was able to hang out with them in the summers. And then they were in school when I was at work. So I got the best of both worlds, I guess. But yeah, summer is really chaos. I agree, but I like a little bit of the chaos. I like the ability just to go when you want to go and be where you want to be. Um, and I can see why you like the structure of all that. Going back to school for me is in a way more chaos because you have all of this has to be done and that has to be done and this has to be done and that has to be done, and you've got it coming from all these people. It's not just the classroom teacher, it's all of them. It's the gym teacher wants something, the choir teacher wants something, the classroom teacher wants something. It's everybody pulling on every string you have. And I just want, all of you shut the hell up. And I look at my kid and I'm like, what do you want to do? Because we're not doing it all. And, of course, they want to do it all. And you've got to really just set them down and go, no, let's figure out what you want to do. Because you can't do choir, band, um, drama club, and, you can't do 15 things after school. And so that is where it constantly gets to me is all the, well, we make them do this, make them do that, and make them do that, and make them do this. No, they're still kids. Let them pick one, maybe two. They don't need to do 20.
Oh
And
yeah, no, my kids were not at all athletic, and so they did all the band things. So they had the jazz band practices, which are different than the marching band practices. Then this one had drum lessons, that one had guitar lessons, this one over here had all the stuff. I took them everywhere they needed to go, and so long as they were on opposite days. And I would drag everybody freaking with me. You want to go to your shit? I'm taking you to their shit, and that's the way that's gonna go. And when you throw on freaking CCDs on Wednesday nights in there, it was every day, but it was every day of the week during marching season, and I didn't mind that at all. I didn't mind it at all because I knew what was coming. I knew that I had to pack snacks for when I had to have a late dinner. I knew that sometimes I was not cooking and I was okay with that. I had to make myself okay with that because I was very big on sitting at the table and everybody eats. And when you're faced with everybody's gonna have to eat dinner at 4 o'clock or at 8 o'clock, I'm like, I'm gonna pick up some Taco Bell on the way home at 7:30. They're gonna eat that shit at 8, jump in the shower, and go the fuck to sleep. And you have to be okay with that every once in a while because you got to do what you got to do. At least they're eating something, you know. And I'm okay
absolutely.
with that. And I wasn't okay with that for a long, long time. But when you end up with 4 kids over a big span of ages, 3 different schools and all the different activities, and you're doing it by yourself basically, because I mean, don't get me wrong, when their dad was home, I mean, if I could leave them there and only take the one kid to the one thing and have him take another kid to another thing, yes, please. And it was fabulous. I liked it, felt like a vacation having it, taking one kid to their thing. But that was that was just very rare because there was just so much travel involved with that job. So everything fell on me. And I was very this is when we're leaving, this is when this is where that. Then you have to know all your kids and which ones are going to dilly dally. So you have to get them ready first, or, you know, flat out lie to their face, we're leaving in 10 minutes, knowing that we're not leaving for half an hour, because that 10 minutes is in their time, is that half an hour. But these are things that you plan for. And I just worked much better under that kind of regimented, I mean, you can call it pressure if you want, but that kind of regimented expectation, because um it wasn't all, you know, fly by the seat of your pants, being pulled in 15 different directions last minute, trying to kind of organize logistics for things that people won't even give you an address to be at. And I don't work well under that. I'm like, we're just gonna go the fuck home, tell your friends no. And I'm like, well, if my kids have done everything they're supposed to do, and they're, you know, they've been fairly good, I don't, you know, I don't have a reason to not let them go places, unless their parents are like weirdos, then no. But yeah, if I'm all stressed out and they can't give it the, I have all kinds of rules because I'm just anal, but I have 4 kids. I'm like, I need to speak to their parents. I need a phone number, an address, and dates. And you need to okay it with their parents before you ask me anything, you know? And like if he need it, like if they were going to their house, and then be happy to have the conversation with whoever, with whatever parents, and take them wherever and pick them up and all the thing. I don't give a shit. It's just when it's last minute, it drives me nuts. Drives me freaking nuts, because anything that I had wanted to do, anything that I needed to do, anything that I had planned to do, now I have to rearrange all that and still have to find time to do all the household things, now that I have no time to do anything, because I live in the middle of freaking nowhere, where the closest Walmart is half an hour
Mm.
away. And so if I'm taking kids down dirt roads to a house I've never been in that looks like a murder house, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah,
And so
the murder house. Nobody's going to the murder house.
so you know, it's a very stressful thing, where if I know what's coming and I know what's going on, and when it comes to like the extracurricular, not the school stuff, but like the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the music lessons, I'm all up in it. You know, I tend to stay away from the school things, because they're so inefficient that I like, my eye twitches. And whenever I'm like, you know, two birds, one stone, this will save you about 15 minutes every time you do, and you do it about 4 times a night, you just save yourself an hour. And they're like, you don't even work here, don't tell me what to do. All right. And so I shut up and sit back. And then they're like, I don't know why I don't have enough time. I told you.
Absolutely.
So I would volunteer specifically for band things, specifically for classroom artsy things, but not for anything on a regular basis, because people just piss me the fuck off.
I volunteered for jazz choir because my one son was in that, and I went everywhere, was cruises to the Bahamas, to Disney World, back and forth, because they were very, very good at what they did, and that was a lot of fun. And my other son was in, yes, Rack. We should say hello to you. Are you there? Are you doing okay? Listen to us to ramble.
I'm fine.
Good. I'm glad. We're just going back and forth talking about kids and schools and all that kind of stuff, all that fun stuff. How was going back to school
Yeah.
for you? We'll just ask you there.
Eh, I mean, going back, that's kind of, I don't know. My schooling was straightforward. I just went along the path that I was supposed to be on. There was no real going back. The kids, unfortunately, my partner's attitude was more, well, now I don't have to watch them, then it's enriching their lives. So I was very unhappy with a lot of that situation. So I didn't like going to soccer because she wanted to stand there and talk to the moms and not have to deal with the kids, as opposed to watch them do what they did and things like that. So when they went back to school, it was a nightmare for me. I didn't enjoy it at all. And then in addition to school, that's not enough. We got to put them in summer camp. Oh God, never mind.
Oh,
So I had to deal with quite a few things that I wasn't prepared to deal with, and it was not a very fun experience for me at all.
Mm.
I missed my kids. I wanted to play with my kids. I wanted to, hang out with them and do stuff, So when they had to go to school, it was like, I wanted to hear about their day and how was school, but at the same time, I wanted to be like, do you need help? Do you want to, go here? Do you need to do this? Whatever's involved. I used to get volunteered for stuff. They would get a school project. The next thing you know, my the wife is saying, oh, you have to make uh, what the heck were they called? The
Dioramas.
No, not even that. Not even that. Well, I actually I actually made furniture. I had to make a little chair out of toothpicks. But no, it was a food, and they asked her to make an ethnic food, and she's telling me I want you to make the I got beignets on the brain. It's the other thing, the candy with the walnuts, and it's all sugar. She's telling me to make those. I'm like, how are these anything to do with that? How is that ethnic? Well, we had just come from New Orleans not too long ago, and we had learned how to make them. So she's like, I volunteered you to make them. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Oh no, that would just piss me off. You don't get to volunteer me anything.
Mm.
If you
It
want
was,
to
it
sign
was
up for something, feel free. If you want me to sign up for something, you let me know and I'll sign up for something.
Yeah.
Oh, that drives me freaking nuts. However, I was also the asshole that ran the Cub Scouts, and I didn't give up my position. I didn't want to run the whole thing because then I would lose my veto override vote. So I stayed in that second place because I
Mm.
basically had final say on everything. And I'm like, we have 5 categories, and this is what we need, or nobody's going camping. I don't care how much money we have. So I'm like,
Why?
because no, I'm not doing it all. And I would sit there in front of those children and tell them, I was like, look, if they can't have their phones out, you can't have your phones out. You need to set that on do not disturb, emergencies only, whatever, whatever, whatever. Because no, if you sit there, and you don't have to sit there and sit with your child in their den. But if you see one of the dens doing something that you are familiar with or you know how to do, go help those people. We are here to help each other, to learn from each other. You have these books are things that you need to do with them at home. This is not stuff that they get done here. And so I had to sit there and mid-month I had to go through everybody's books to make sure somebody did something so that because a lot of parents never bothered to do anything with them at home. They would take them there and be like, woohoo, 2 hours if I don't have to look at my kid, where I would,
Yep.
make that suck for them. And I would call, I'm like, you come here. And this is what we're doing, you know? And the ones that I see that their parents did nothing with them for the whole month, I would make sure that their den did stuff with them, or I would pull them aside to go over some things that we can do real quickly with them that I can sign off on, so that everybody got a patch or a bead or something. Because the when I first started with my youngest, where I wasn't in charge, and I would see some of these kids just be so disappointed because they didn't get anything, because they didn't work towards anything. I said, oh no, I need to fix this, because they need things to work towards, especially when they're itty bitty, 6, 7, 8 years old. It needs to not only just be fun, but they like, getting all their patches and wearing all the things. They're very proud of that. And some of these parents are like, that's your job. No, 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 no. Like it says right here in writing, it's your job, you know? And but sometimes everybody needs a break. Sometimes they would send their 16-year-old siblings who just got a license to take them, so that I don't have to tell them to do. Of their 16-year-old kids, I would be like, hey, you want to help? Because we got to do some stuff. What do you think about this? And I would put them right to work, and they were delightful, flipping delightful. And more so than the parents everywhere. I don't care if I see your mom again. Feel free to drive them every week. Good. It's crazy how many times. Now I had 4 kids. If I often have resting bitch face. Listen, If it's not important, don't fucking talk to me. I get it, but I am constantly watching my kid and other people's kids. And even if I wasn't running stuff, I would be timeout because I don't play. When my kid, when they would bring all their kids, be like, this is what he did. You mean timeout? I'm like, all right, we're running knots, and have them. This is how you make this knot, and this, and their timeout was contemplating why they're sitting in timeout and also earning a freaking patch, because two birds, one stone. And they're like, how do you do that? I was like, I have no patience for wasting of the time. We have shit to do. They're like, are you like that at home? I'm like, no. Want to know how I am at home? And this is what blew everybody away. They're like, how do you do that? I have 4 kids and no patience, and I don't want to kill me a child is how I do it. Okay. So I would I'm a very nice person. I'm also very loud and very whatever. So they would have consequences, right? So they would have consequences if they didn't do stuff. But if they lost privileges, they could earn them back. And sometimes the consequences and earning them back are the same. So they would have the magic erasers. Now, I don't recommend itty bitties with the magic erasers because whatever chemical in there can burn their skin. But you know, the first time they use a magic eraser, if they're fine, they're fine. And so I would be like, because of this, do you see all of these little itty bitty fingerprints all over these light switches and doorknobs? This is what you are doing. And they're like, but I don't wanna, but you're gonna, you know? And then if they want to go to Johnny's house, and I was like, well, you needed to do, you know, you need to keep your room clean and do your homework. That's all I ever asked you to do. And you decided to throw your brother's stuff all over the freaking place, making your whole entire room a mess. Yeah, but it's his stuff. Yeah, but you did it. And so once all that is nice and clean, they're like, well, now can I go to Johnny's? No, but if you want to earn it back, this is what you do. Here's the magic eraser. This is how many walls you need to do from where they can reach down. You know, you know, if you can do 3 of these by the end of the week, then yes, you can spend the weekend at Johnny's house, assuming you do your homework and keep everything clean. They're like, okay. So that I never really told them no outright, unless they were complete assholes, which, you know, sometimes. But they're like, why are you making them scrub walls? They're the ones who wrote on it. They're little grubby fingerprints. Why do you have a problem with that? I was like, don't do it to your kids then, but leave me alone. My kid's not a heathen. Have you seen yours running around barefoot and dog shit? Leave me alone. Oh, I do. I don't like people telling me, insinuating that I'm a crappy parent, because I will point out all the crappiness they are as a parent with a big old smile on my face, because don't dish it out if you can't take it, you know?
Oh
I
yeah,
might be
don't.
an asshole, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I can be anything. I can be the biggest asshole you want to you, but don't tell me I've done anything. No, don't tell me how to raise my kids, how to talk to my kids, what I've done with my kids. No, no, no. That's like a match to kerosene.
Well, you know, here's the thing. It's always the ones that are the weirdos. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I don't care if you bring the kid with food stains all over him to whatever the function is. If it's not something, I don't give a shit. So long as they're there, they're doing this stuff. And they don't look malnourished or beaten, and they're wearing shoes. I'm good. You know. It's like,
Yep.
also maybe make sure they don't have lice. You know, because I would really appreciate that. I
Yeah.
mean, so long as the kids are happy and fed, they've got their school covered, I don't give a shit.
No.
But also, if I'm running a bunch of kids, for the time I'm running those kids, they're my kids. I will treat them exactly like I treat my children. That includes timeout. That includes how I talk to them. That includes my expectations. And I tell everybody, I was like, if I said, I am not gentle, you know. I call them out. I ask them why to their face. I talk to them like they're people, not like they're babies, and I expect them to do, you know, what they're told, or at least ask questions why if they don't understand. Happy to explain things on their level, don't have a problem with that, but I'm very clear about what I want. And these parents are like, I don't understand why they listen to you and they don't do shit at home. And is that your phone in your hand yet again? Oh, okay. because you have to engage and you have to be present and you have to pay attention and they have to feel seen. Because if they don't ever feel seen, if they feel second or third or fourth, so it can't even a number as opposed to your phone, then or your stories or whatever it is that you're doing, they're either going to act out or they're going to shut down. And I call everybody out on their shit. I don't care how old they are. I'm like, oh, sweetie, and what is that in your hand? Nothing. Oh, I kind of saw it. Will you just show it to me and let's discuss? They're like, are you going to tell my mom? Or you can tell me what it is? I was like, listen, don't lie to me and we can have a conversation. You lie to me, you go right to your mother. I took this. And I thought so. But I do it loud enough that the mom knows. And,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. I never understood how anybody gets off telling somebody they're insinuating that they could do a better job if you don't talk to the person, find out what's going on, or care enough to offer help. Because if you're just like your kid stinks, and without saying, is everything all right, because I know that we've had storms or whatever, do you have water, do you need a place to shower, whatever it is, find out a bit of the story before you're just like, your kid stinks, you know what I mean? Because if you're not going to help, you're not going to give a shit enough to help find solutions to the people or the children that are in your immediate oversight. You don't get to talk shit because you don't care enough. You can't care enough to talk shit, not care enough to figure out what the problem is, or help, or be a shoulder, or somebody somewhere is overwhelmed in some capacity, I don't know. It's just sometimes people say I have a problem with lazy fucking parents when it comes to, um, those the children's activities where they use it, like you said, Rack, as social hour where nobody pays attention. I was like, I sat there and I saw this kid play football, and I mean, his leg was wrong, just all kinds of fake movie wrong. And the mom was just like, is that my kid? What happened to him? And oh my God, his leg. You were sitting right there doing who the hell knows what, not paying any attention to anything. Your kid's actively out there, playing football, like tackle football. Maybe pay fucking attention or stay the fuck home. And I say this knowing that band parents will sit there in a big old group and talk all the shit. Okay. But marching band accidents are not the same as football accidents, and marching band volunteering is more make sure they have water, make sure they get snacks, make sure everybody can go has a chaperone to go potty, because teenagers will be in cahoots. But other than that, there wasn't really a big thing. But the way she went into hysterics. Now I understand your child is injured, and I would be in hysterics too. But she did not be in hysterics running towards the ambulance. She was in there freaking out in the stands, not making her way down to where the ambulance was. And I'm like, oh, so it's about you. I'm like, excuse me. But they closed the door to the ambulance. Don't you want to know which hospital they're going to? Don't you want to, follow them? And I
No.
mean, this is why I have no respect for people. If you're not paying attention, things happen, and you're like, oh my God, and you run down there like you're gonna, kill anybody that gets in the way of you and your child. All right, respect. That to me is normal. If you see them pulling the ambulance not even onto the track, but onto the field itself, you better bet my ass I'm going to be jumping over fences to get there, And she was just, blustering for the attention without any consideration for her own kid. That pissed me off. And I remember it too. I was a child. I was not a mother. I was in high school, and it wasn't even like my school. And I'm sitting there and watching, like, what the hell kind of parent is this? That she's sitting there and everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I hope he's okay. I hope it's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, excuse me. They're closing the ambulance. I was like, that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever seen. I was like 14. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. And I'm sitting there, I literally said out loud to my friends, yeah, at least my parents don't bother to show up. So they don't know until they know. It's fine. I mean, I love my parents, but my mother only came to homecoming to see the dresses. Like, because that's where they announced the court. It's like, I do the halftime show. Yeah, but that's when I go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, thank you. I love you too.
My parents owned a flower shop, so they did the corsages. So yeah, that's what I got.
I have one of my friends, their parents owned the flower shop that did my wedding.
Mm.
He
My
was
mom did.
hysterical.
My mom did flowers and baked wedding cakes, and my dad was the minister, so they were the one-stop shop for the wedding.
That's fabulous. Oh, I am so judgy. I swear I'm not this judgy in real life.
My my friend's wife made the centerpieces, and at about midway through the thing, they started going on fire.
That
Oh
is
no,
hysterical.
was it on purpose?
Well, it was poor planning and design of where the candles went.
Oh, okay.
So it was like they were beautiful, and then up until they went on fire.
Yes, you learn one flame, and you learn. You use those
Yeah.
flameless candles. They look fine.
Well, I didn't know if it was like what is it? Hunger Games, where it was like there on purpose, and then all of a sudden it lit on fire, like it was part of the show.
That's funny.
Girl
Yeah.
on fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just wondering if that's the way it worked. Oh, so yeah. There are, like I said, there are some of those parents that just don't want to get involved, and they do everything not to be involved, or they're there for the gossiping or the grapevine with the other mothers, or oh, look where I got my nails done, or we gonna have wine or whatever, because you definitely have those little cliques. They go back to school with their kids to go back to school, and that's just something I cannot stand either, because please spare me.
Do you
But
know
yeah,
how
there
many
are.
parents brought beer to camping trips?
Oh,
Oh,
And how many parents thought that they're allowed to smoke? It's in the guidelines that you can't smoke around the kids at any scouting events, and you can't, like, you have to be 50 feet away. We had to designate a rock. This is where you can smoke. And you have to pick up all your ashes because you can't leave any trace behind. And like all of your
forest
butts.
fires.
Yeah, no, it's just we had a whole leave no trace policy, so you had to leave it cleaner than you did than you got there. But the way they had their own coolers in their tents and would want to come out drunk, you are now banned. You cannot come back. So sorry, because you're just not allowed. I was like, then there's a difference between your standard camping that's not Cub Scout camping for credit and for whatever and all that stuff. If you want to go with the families and do whatever you want to do, and what, that's different. But if you're doing scout things, earning scout stuff and having it logged as a scout camping trip, you have rules, and you can't have alcohol. The way I got told off, you are now done. I was like, you can leave your wife and child, you need to go. Because it's always the guys. It was always the guys, except for the one mom, but it was always the guys that would fight. The moms would just not leave their tent and drink in there nice and happy. I'm like, no, sweetie, you need to go all the way out by yourself and put that crap back in the car. That's way the heck over there where you can't see it. And then you're going to come back over here without it and have a nice weekend. It's just crazy to me. But yeah, I prefer them to be in school because it gives me a certain amount of daylight hours where I can do all the things that need doing, adult wise. And then, whether it's bills and running to the bank and grocery shopping, all that stuff. And then the rest of the time they're there, I don't have anything to do but make dinner. It's all them, it may not all be fun, but it's still all them. And I prefer that than trying to mix it in when everybody is What about this and what about that, and can I do this and what about this, and you said this and this one's going over here and all this. I'm like, listen, I'm not leaving you a bunch of heathens here by yourself, because I would like a house to come back to. You guys are going to burn it to the ground. So now all of you are going with me. I'll drop all you people off one at a time on the way when we're done with what I'm doing. And if you complain, we're all coming right home, because that's stressful. But that's
Yep.
just me.
A lot.
That is very stressful.
It really is.
Only because I had two, but I always had two of their friends always with me. And if you had four, you had two of their friends always with you. So you always had six. I mean, because you can't have four boys without friends, because I always had two boys with friends. So you're always like doubling. And I don't know how
Well,
that works.
yours were fairly close in age, though, right?
Yeah, mine are only 13 months apart.
Yeah, mine span 11 years. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of, you need to watch your brother for a hot minute, because maybe give me 2 minutes to go to the bathroom without somebody at my ass, please. And and I had to send the bigger ones in the bathroom with the little ones, because at whatever age we're like, I don't want to go in the girls' bathroom. I'm like, I'm not. It's all right. Then I'm gonna go into the boys' bathroom with you and make sure there's no weirdos in here. I would literally
Mom, I
open the
got a
door and be like,
question.
what?
No, no, no. Mom, I have a
Oh,
question.
I thought you said I had a question. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I would open the door and like push it open with my arm and be like, is there anybody in here? Be like, all
yeah.
right, you can go in. I would stop grown ass men. You better wait till my child comes out, because I don't know you. I was like, sorry, he's 8. He's in there by himself. If you go in there, I'm going in there after you. So you might just want to wait till he's done.
Mm,
Because I don't trust these weirdos.
no, I wouldn't either.
Their dad is like, isn't that a little much? I was like, no.
No.
I was like, in my charge, none of my children have ever been bothered by grown ass people in the bathroom. So whatever I did worked. He's like, nobody's going to bother them. Yes, they are, especially my number 3 child, who talks to everyone. That's an invitation for the weirdos,
Mm-hmm.
He would even talk to the
Oh,
women from underneath the stall. Not like his face underneath the stall, but he'd be like I would go in the handicapped one, and they would all have to stand there, and I'm like, listen, I'm going potty, just turn around, and they'd be singing, and they'd be whatever. God forbid one of the other women laugh, he'd be like, hi, what's your name? Yada yada, your poo stinks. Oh, sweet Jesus. They'll be, seriously. They're all like, what did you eat? I'm like, I'm so sorry. They're like, they're kids, it's fine. I'm like, oh Lord. Because they're boys, and they will tell you if your poo stinks.
We'll also tell you what note you're hitting when you fart. That
They
was a
will
C
tell you
sharp.
all the things.
all the
No, my
things.
kids were the ones who were like, that's not good enough. You can do better. I believe in you.
Oh, God, yes. See, summer versus school. All the things you get to learn.
Okay, I think that this is an AI thing, and I swear to God, I died of laughter. I sent it to so many people. Do you remember those cones with the like accordion bulb at the bottom that you put a ball in, and then you like smack it and it flies out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was like that, only it had a kind of a cup shaped opening, and then a big reservoir that was the accordion that you can then
Uh-huh.
smack across the thing. You're supposed to fart in it and then shove it across the room. And I'm just like, if they could aim farts, that would have been my entire summer with all 4 kids. It'd be fart wars every stinking day. And I'm just like, I hope that is not real. I hope that's some AI bullshit, but I could not stop laughing, because I could just see their entire childhood redone with literally just throwing farts across the room. And I'm just like, oh, boys are so gross. So
Oh, I could
gross.
see that. I could see it.
I could
And then
smell
our
it.
father joining in. Yeah, absolutely see my ex-husband joining that.
we have some more beans, Mom?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. Well, it's almost time to do announcements, and then we can start our poetry.
Poetry,
Sounds
what's
good.
that?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, so on Tuesday, the 1st, it is everybody needs a shrink. Ain't that the truth? So I'm not crazy. You're crazy. You know, since crazy is subjective, we really all have our moments. So whether we're misconstrued or pushed to the edge of sanity, we have all been off our game at some point. In a world where we can still feel invisible, surrounded by people, we could all use someone to talk to. These days, there's an app for that. Crazy or not, sometimes everybody needs a shrink. That's on Tuesday.
And on the following Thursday, the things we have for you. Lord, I had it up here and I lost it. Is summer lovin'. Summer lovin' is a whirlwind of swamp ass and romance, with long days a magical nights that spark connection. Summer is the season for adventure, and that will be coming up on Thursday. So we are looking forward to that. Be sure to like, share, and comment on all the things you see. We are pretty sweet. Distractions. You can find us at PRTTYSWEET podcast. That's where you can listen to
Pod,
all of Podbean. I'm
Not
sorry, podbean.com. I should not podcast. You can find all of our podcasts there or anywhere else that you listen to your podcast, which is Spotify, Apple. Um, let's see, what are the other ones?
Amazon, all the
all over.
places.
Amazon, yeah. I had my list and I lost my paper. I was much better at this last week. Like, follow, share, leave your opinions on our opinions. And let's see. Let's see. I know I'm missing something. Yeah. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So make sure you follow up with us and follow those red shoes. Listen to us everywhere. There are hours and hours of us talking about everything. Make sure you also check out the side pieces because there's nothing better than a little side piece. So, what did I miss?
We are live every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. We have some shorts on there too. So if you prefer short form content, we do have clips of these shows. So bits and pieces of bits and pieces. And again, that is at Pretty Sweet. So click on whatever social media and type in PRTTY Sweet, all one word. Click on those red shoes and follow us wherever they lead you to be distracted.
I
To
forgot the
paraphrase Bart Simpson,
oh,
to paraphrase Bart Simpson, watch my shorts.
OMG.
oh my goodness.
So what were you saying, Sweet?
I can't believe I missed the biggest part.
Oh,
Oh,
where we were live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern.
yeah. Like, that's the part I usually remember. Oh, I'm brain dead. So brain dead. But that's why I have you. Ah, all
It makes
right.
you brain dead.
No, she undeads the brain dead because she's the brains of this operation and the cuteness and all the other things. I'm like the puppy dog that sits there and goes, huh? But thank God she loves me. Oh, so let's see what we've got going on. We will do. I love the title of this poem, Just So That You Know. It cracked me up when I just read the title, so I'm excited to actually hear you read the poem. So we will get on with that. Uh, but the title cracked me up. Yeah. So I will have you up on the board here. Oops, I didn't hit send. That's not going to work. So you are up, my dear.
You send me
Yes.
Okay. Is it in the room?
Yes, I am.
I mean, in the
the link.
The mean
No,
cat.
I
Yeah.
got it. I put it up.
Oh, I got it too. Just exactly at the same time.
All right. So this is a cheeky little stress balls by me, Pretty Bird, and it goes like this. Anyway, the next thing I knew, I was insane. The dream was a perfect 2.4 and a white picket fence, 1 by 1 by 3 and 4, and there aren't enough teats on a body to shut their pie holes. Fresh faced, innocent little hoodlums. Don't let me get my goodness, he's cute. God made them that way to prolong their lives. I am convinced of it. My name isn't actually Ma. And while I can actually hear them being up to no good, I refuse to answer to the screaming tattles of unless you're bleeding, dying, or broke something important, I'm just not in the mood. So I was wearing this white dress one day that sits like a hidden treasure in a vacuum sealed box in a closet that's full of gray because it hides the widest range of disgust that fruited loins can wipe on it. Puppy piles and laundry piles and piles of dishes. There isn't enough Calgon in the world to release the clutches of apron strings crocheted into crazy heartbeats and snugglebug goodnight kisses that I wouldn't trade for that perfect 2.4. And poem.
Aw, this is just yeah. They are little stress balls, and thank God they're cute. And especially my one with freckles. Thank God he's cute because oh my God, the trouble he got into with those beautiful blue eyes and he's lucky his son is that cute with his beautiful blue eyes because Lord knows I there are times when you just want to go, I don't know who you are, I don't know how I'm related to you, I don't care if part of me you're made from part of something of mine, it had to be the wrong parts. um, I can just yeah, a love hides the widest range of disgust that fruited loins can wipe on it. That is a great line. That is quite actually funny. Puppy piles, laundry piles, and piles of dishes. There isn't enough Calgon in the world to release the clutches of apron strings crocheted into crazy heartbeats. Oh, isn't that the truth? There are just those nights where you just lay in bed and go, oh my God, did that really happen? Did I do it right? How did I do it? Why did he do it? Oh my God. And you go through every scenario to make sure you covered everything that should have been covered and it was covered correctly because you want to make sure they never ever do that again because you're not sure how he got on top of the garage or why he was on top of the garage or why he thought he could fly or any of those many things that you're just sitting there going through your head and thank God you found him before he thought he could fly or actually did try to fly. I refuse to answer to the screaming tattles unless you're bleeding, dying, or broke something important. I'm just not in the mood because every other minute somebody is crying, Mom, 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 Mom,
Mom,
because
mom, mommy, mom.
they think the fact that a spider eating ant is the most important thing that you're ever going to see for the rest of the day. Everything is so important that mom has to see it because obviously you've never seen what they have just seen, or they've pooped the biggest poop they think they're ever going to poop in their life, and you're the one that has to come and see it. This is
That's not the
just
stress ball she was talking about.
oh,
OMG.
I don't know. There's a lot of
He's
stress.
making fun of the poop.
Yes, just FYI. And why would there's not enough Calgon? Because usually they want to come in and talk to you. Like my oldest son, for years, would come in, pull the curtain across the bathtub, sit down in the toilet, and go, "It's time for us to talk." Till he was about
Yeah, I
7,
would lose my shit.
he would just come in, and it was time for us to talk because he had to talk to me about whatever important things. I mean, he was 6 or 7 when he stopped, but he'd just come marching in, pull the shower sheet across the bathtub, sit down. Okay, Mom, it's time for us to talk. Okay. We don't get to be alone very much to talk because he had a little brother or his father, and he just felt there was It was time for us to talk. So even in the Calgon, I didn't have time to myself. But he was cute. He talked about all the important things, and it was just our time to talk. It wasn't every time I was in the tub, but every once in a while, he just felt it was time for us to have a talk. So it, it, it just reminds me of all that. That's a great piece. Pretty sweet. Yeah, pretty sweet. Pretty
Pretty
bird.
bird.
Yeah, pretty bird. I really, really enjoyed it. And Raconteur, your thoughts on this?
But, I'm not surprised you latched right onto the laundry aspect of this. But the other thing of it was, for me, you're mentioning the troubles they get into with their blue eyes. It's not the trouble they get into; it's the trouble they get out of.
Oh, this is
The freckles and the dimples and the smile. I mean, it's like they know, and exactly what Pretty Bird said. It's like that's their survival mechanism. And I mean, the idea of it, as annoying as it is, you would kill to have those moments because they're treasured. It's like, oh, he still talks to me. You hear other kids that they want nothing to do with their parents. They won't talk to them. They won't tell them anything. They won't talk about their day. It's like, they're like more than roommates because they pay the bills, but they're less than friends because it doesn't matter. So it's a crazy dynamic that you're describing, but yeah, the puppy piles and the cuteness is inescapable and endearing, and I love this for that.
Thank you. Yeah, they would get very mad when their sad little pouty lip and puppy dog eyes would never work on me. I'm like, go ask your aunt, just like that, because and I would laugh. I'm like, sucker.
yep. Oh, yeah.
I
My youngest.
I I, I used to get
No, go
told
ahead, Rap.
I used to get told if you stick that lip out anymore, a bird's gonna shit on it.
OMG.
Oh, no, my youngest son still has the longest pet name ever, and it's my favorite redheaded, blue-eyed baby boy, and I still call him that. And I'm like, oh, so I probably should stop calling you that. He goes, nope, don't ever stop. So he likes it still to this day. So he forever shall be my redheaded baby boy, my favorite. All right, I put my one of mine up on the board. And this is called Morning Makeup Routine by Sweet Pea. Morning comes in the dark, moments of silence and coffee, beauty and sunrises before the chaos ensues. Concealer on, the husband needs the John. Clean up after kids, off to school. Foundation smooth. Honey, where are my shoes? What is he, two? Find husband's shoe. Blush upon cheekbones. Oh, dear God, is that my phone? I'm sorry, what? Johnny needs to bring 50 cookies to class? I will drop them off on my way to work. Home baked, you say? No way. Eyeliner black, bring out those eyes of mine. Oh, damn, look at the time. Call the boss, I'm going to be late. Cookies and blah blah. You need a file? Just type their name into the computer, that big machine in front of you. Never mind, I'll be there soon. Throw some eyeshadow on before something else goes wrong. I know that sound, the spin cycle on the washer going round. Where's my butter knife? My tool for everything. One twist, it's fixed. Mascara, brush it on quick. Line my lips, add some lipstick. Turn off the coffee pot. Gather up my laptop. Check the locks on the doors. Get in the car. What am I missing? The baby. I need the baby. Back in the car. Baby ready to go. Refresh the lips. Now to start the day. It's going well so far. And boom.
Yeah, I would put mascara on the way to work once I'm actually awake and out of the house because I can never put it on and when I'm half asleep still in the house. It was crazy. But yeah, oh no. I okay, so I think we have already established that I'm the a-hole. So I'm like, yeah, I am not finding a grown ass person's anything. You've been dressing yourself since you were a toddler. You don't need my help. They're right wherever you left them. Goodbye. And but yeah, I am also the kind of mom that made sure all my kids so what listen, you have this tomorrow, this you have music, you have PE, you have whatever. What do you want to wear? Let's pick an outfit. And I would lay them over the backs of their chairs where they sit to eat at the dining room table with their shoes on the chair so that nobody's going to sit with their socks in them, by the way, so nobody's going to kick them across the way and whatever to because also I kind of birth little mini me, so I have little mini a-holes. And so I was that kind of just mental because if I was leaving in the morning I had to make sure all their shit was ready because otherwise, I'd get the 16 phone calls. Well, where's this and where's that and where's this and where's that? I had to have custom hooks made, a two-tier hooks on the wall by the back door. The top one for their jackets, and they each had a hook and their corresponding big hook on the bottom for their backpacks. When they were done with their homework, your shit has a place, put it there. So because they were constantly losing it, they would drop it on the floor of their brother's room, and then their brother would like just throw it in with all their toys, and nobody's gonna find anything. I was like, I'm done with this nonsense. So I had to go and fix that. But oh yeah, no, I was like, don't make me have to have freaking grown-ups set out their clothes too. I cannot. And but yeah, it's never a clean and easy thing. I remember the times I had to leave. It's always 5 o'clock in the freaking morning. It's so stupid. And you kind of tiptoe. You don't put those shoes on until right before you walk out the door because everybody gets up. And I would skip coffee and have to buy it out if I needed it because the second you run that water and do whatever, everybody's like, where are you going? It's the middle of the night. No, sweetie, the sun will be out in like 10 minutes. It's not the middle, but it's still nighttime. Go back to sleep. I'm like, no, that's what I tell you. So I would always have to sneak out. And so yeah, but I could absolutely see all of this stuff. And I miss the days where we could bring baked goods. We used to have to buy them so we could
Oh,
actively see the labels, and if it was open, unsealed, or whatever, they would not feed them to the kids. They would throw it out because so many food allergies and stuff. I'm just like, oh, you people suck. Because I used to like those bake sale, whatever. I don't want to buy for double the price something I can buy at Publix for $4. You know,
mm,
I want grandma's recipe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love that. But this is what a busy morning looks like. All the things, and I don't know if y'all know this, but I don't answer my phone in the morning. I do not.
mm,
Do not call me before double digits. You know, it is because chances are I'm not awake, and if I'm awake, I'm not happy. So if I pick up the phone, you did it to yourself. But I do love that depiction of a morning where it's you have to kind of squeeze yourself into everybody else's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not drama. It's not chaos. It's well, anyways, whatever I'm thinking. I'm sure the word will come out at some point. So, Raconteur, your thoughts?
this is a lovely depiction of getting ready for the day and almost forgetting the kid. That yeah, that's a stereotype. I love that one. And everything needs to be just so. I mean, you want to be put together, but you don't have a chance to do that because of all the other demands being put on you. So it helps you to lose your mind a little bit, and it makes it that much tougher to get through the morning. The other thing about the cookies, it's like that's almost a penalty to say that I can't bring them in myself. I have to buy them out because you end up like Pretty Bird said, you have to spend like twice as much. It's like when was the last time you bought 2 dozen donuts? This how much?
Seriously.
It's like it's a crime. So yeah, I want to manage it myself, but at the same time, it's like I almost don't have the tools to do it. So yeah, this is exasperating and cute all at the same time.
Absolutely. Okay.
You said something, Rock. You said I had to make a chair out of toothpicks. And I instantly go into, I think I'm the only idiot. So here's the thing. Ever since my nieces and nephews were itty bitty and they had their first science projects and all the things, it was always last minute. I don't know why, but it was always last minute. They're in my house in the middle of the night before the things due. With their mom's got all this stuff, and I'm not doing their science project. I am helping them do all the stuff. What do you want? What do you want it to look like? What are we doing? Here's the stuff. And you're gluing this stuff on there. I will print the things. You can color them in. While we can do whatever. You pick the font. You think that we're gonna say what you want to say. You know? I will fix
Yep.
grammar though, because I can't help it. But it would be all of them. And my sister would be like, just, you know, can't you just, it's faster if you just do it. I'm not, no. She is going to sit there and bake all the cookies with missing ingredients, all the different batches of cookies, so that we see what happens if you don't add eggs, if you don't add butter, if you don't add
Baking
whatever.
soda.
Yeah, all the things. And it's so the like that particular project was called Tasty or Wasty, and it had, smiley face cookies and cookies that were going bleh, and all the things that she wanted to say about all this stuff, but she had to do it because if they were going to ask her, um
Questions.
yeah, if they were going to ask her anything, she had to be able to answer them. And why was it disgusting, and what did it taste like, and all of the things. And so I never did it for any of my kids. I made them go through all the stuff. I would go through it with them. We would find faster ways to do it, but I would make them do as much as uh I would make them do as much as possible, so that they understood the process, so that they could explain to me what they see going on, so I could type that up for them. I mean, okay, so having said that, my kid had an English project in middle school, and I made a whole entire soundtrack to his report. He picked all the music for whatever scene, because it was one of the things on the rubric. You can do this presentation, that presentation. He made a full soundtrack. I mean, we're talking like 11 songs that went along with specific scenes in the book, and why he chose them, and whether it was lyrics, the feel of the music, all the stuff, complete with jewel case and liner notes and all the things. And she did not give it back. I was so pissed off. She literally kept it. She's like, I'm gonna keep this. This is awesome. I'm like, all right, fine. But he was very excited, very excited. And what's funny is she played the whole thing softly after his thing, where he described the song or whatever. They didn't play it, but she played it really, really softly as background music to everybody else's presentations. So that's the only thing that I might have gone overboard is music. We can do music, what? And so, my nerd kicked in, but it was also, he had the same nerd and he picked the songs. So, but yeah, I'm not gluing your shit. I'm not A B C D E F G, and I think I got that from my dad because I had to make this pyramid out of wood and whatnot, and um and he's like, well, you have to make it yourself. I was like, okay. So I want to use his piece of quarter-inch plywood. And he's like, well, are you going to draw out the triangles? It's like, yeah. And I'm going to cut them with a saw. And that man threw such a fit that I wanted to use the circular saw. But he's like, you're going to cut your hand off. You're going to cut. I was 12 and wasn't my first rodeo, you know? And he's just like, you're a girl. Oh, the hell you say? And I was so pissed off because he cut one of my triangles wrong and he wouldn't
Oh,
fix it. So they didn't seat right. And he cut 3 of one size and 1 of the other. And I needed 3 a quarter I needed 2 a quarter-inch bigger than the other 2. And it had to be like an
right.
eighth of an inch on either side so that
Yep.
yeah. And I was like, what is this? Well, that's what you get because I'm not recutting it. Lord. All right. Thank you. Thank you for helping. I could have done it better myself. He did not appreciate that. That was not a good night for me.
Smack.
I mean, it was a million years ago, but oh yeah, fun stuff. But yeah, so I don't know how to full on do the things. I have to go through the entire process. And I've multiple people, my mother, my father, my sister, my aunt, their dad. Why do you have to make things so difficult? Do you want to do it? No. All right. But I'm also the same girl that when the Cub Scouts were in the Christmas parade and they had a float, they wanted to be the island of misfit toys. And I made my child an all yellow Rubik's Cube. If he picked all yellow, I did the electrical tape black lines. I cut out the perfect holes. He was freaking perfect in his yellow sweats that matched his yellow box, and he was a full little misfit, full yellow Rubik's cube, and it was the cutest thing ever. And I keep on getting, that must have taken, and this the thing, because I measure all the lines. You can't half-ass a Rubik's cube. And so I get proud of those little stupid things that if I wasn't so anal, it wouldn't
Yeah.
look like that. They're like, but you did such a good job. I wonder why. It takes for fucking ever. I'm just saying. But that's also where my joy is. I like making the things. I'm done complaining.
Were you complaining?
Well, I know. I loved that float. And that's probably my favorite one out of all of the ones that they did. And because
I
usually it was
want to
just,
be a dentist.
yeah, it was
That's
usually just
funny.
in their uniforms with the hat and they're throwing candy at the things, but they wanted to be the Island of Misfit Toys. That was their suggestion. Everybody got excited. And so everybody did whatever they did. And it was this perfect, it was an 18-inch square shipping box, which was perfect for his size. And I was just like, this is awesome. He's like, I can't reach my mouth. Can you put the candy in my mouth? Yes, dear, I will. Because, his arms are only so long and that box is pretty big. It was just so funny. So I miss those days. I miss when they were little. Now they're grown with opinions and plans and, lives and all the shit. The nerve. It's fine.
Wow. I have your other phone up.
All right. This is Lotus Mind by me, Pretty Bird. And it goes like this. And this kind of speaks to my mom brain-ish or just my regular brain, but this is what happens. So it is what it is. This is Lotus Mind. Untapped possibilities, unwrapped mind, tamped into confines not meant for growth. The expansion of thought, lambasted ideology, abraded, time ticks boxes and columns of do's and don'ts, pros, cons, Prozac cannot fix what love has broken. Never is there such a word with no real parameters and subjective outlines, indefinable and cruel. If the road to hell is paved with good intentions, is that why my mind attacks my truth in if-then statements that fail to justify injustice? Creativity sifted, a voice silenced, a chopstick stuffing fluff into the corners of a pillow, the expansion of a mind bound in Vantablack hope, where opinions were like assholes, but there's no place to shit. Used to could to never was. The thought of an idea scrapes concrete walls and shrinking ceilings. The system is broken. I am bound, you are binding, and there is no room to swing the sledgehammer without bludgeoning all that I am left. No versus yes, the gradient of a life and lessons that hold no meaning and forgotten, untapped possibilities. And poem.
No versus yes. Lessons that hold no meaning and forgotten untapped possibilities. Oh, I do so love how you write things. Time ticks boxes and columns of do's and don'ts, pros, cons, pros, cons. Prozac cannot fix what love has broken. There is so much truth in this. I just, there's never, it is, or it isn't. There's no, well, let's play in the middle because you can't play in the middle. It hurts too much. It's like oh my God, you did or you didn't. There's not a maybe or a halfway point, or I only went this far, or well, I started, but I didn't go all the way. No, there never is there such a world where no real parameters and subjective outlines, indefinable and cruel. There are so many people that want to go into that. Well, you have to understand it was just once, or you have to understand maybe, or it's really not my fault, or all of those things they want to say to you. But if you would have done this, then I might have not done this, and they'll justify injustice.
Mhm.
Wow, I've been there so many times. Our opinions are like assholes, but there's no place to shit. And they could open their mouths wide. Maybe then they stop talking the shit they want to talk. There's no room to swing the sledgehammer without bludgeoning all that I am left. And they leave it. They leave every possibility just gone because they want to play in that gray. Yeah. They're all just assholes because, well, maybe there is a do or a halfway do, or you can call it I did, but you can also call it I didn't. I just, ugh, it makes me want to vomit. Yeah. Rack, your thoughts on this?
Do or do not. There is no try. The nerd in me. The first thing I thought when you read the title of this was Lotus 123. It was that damn spreadsheet, and that's the era that I kind of grew up in and started. I started with computers back in the beginning. So, and then you're mentioning if then statements. So this hit my nerd light, my nerd nerve, however you want to put it, that this really appealed to me in so many different ways. But your observations of the things that wind up being frustrating, again, always a pleasure. Um, the idea of this, it's it's all, I think you had fun with it. I think you know I think it's origami at its best, but it's not an origami lotus, so I guess that doesn't apply. Never mind. But yeah, ow.
Well, it's all inner thought and inner turmoil and what we do to ourselves and it's Prozac cannot fix what love has broken because there's never such a word with no real parameters and subjective outlines and indefinable and cruel because love is whatever we make it. I mean, when we're in the moment and we're in proximity and everything is kismet and all the interstices are full in grandiose beautiful truth. It's not always like that, and depending on who we're with and who we're talking to and who we're thinking of and how we care about the people we care about in general, it fluctuates between what we want it to be, what it used to be, what we hope it is, what we thought it was, and it doesn't matter if you're friends, if you're romantic, if you're family, because I can love hate me some family, you know. I'm just saying, and they could irk the shit out of me. I'll talk to them from end, but if they need me, I am there, and but we do it to ourselves. We sit there
Yeah.
and even with our kids, which is why I brought this one to today, they're frustrating, and I don't know how you all are, but everything that they do that frustrates me feels like it's my fault, like I didn't teach them well enough. You know what I mean? That when they're young and you think that they should know better, and you know that they know better because they've done better and they know what the rules are, and then they want to go out and be an ass or show their ass or just be a kid because that's what kids do. And then I'm like, I taught you better than this. Where did I go wrong? How have I failed you? Instead of your kid, maybe, calm down a little bit, But at night, when everybody's finally asleep and you're exhausted, things tend to weigh on our own shoulders. The things that we could have done to have changed that outcome, the things that we could have done better than get frustrated or yell in their face, or whatever it is that we wish we could have changed about our day. And we beat ourselves up all the time. And why should it be this hard? It's not supposed to be this hard. I mean, the movies don't show that it's supposed to be this hard. What happened to happily ever after? Like, oh yeah, nobody tells you that it is 24/7 work to try to maintain any semblance of joy in that love, because it's frustrating and it's work and it's exhausting and there's
Yeah.
not enough hours of the day. And the if you fill your time trying to make sure that they feel loved, you know, you sometimes you there is no hard consequences to their hard actions. And so where how do you talk yourself into the consequences of your actions are still love? Because all of their actions have consequences, because apparently I'm strict. Who the fuck knew? I never felt like I was, but apparently I was. And then I'm just like, well, this is how I am teaching them and this is how they are learning. And but it makes you justify in your own brain that that's what love looks like. Because when anybody's like, well, I would never, well, kiss my ass, because I didn't ask you anyway. And it weighs on you and you second guess yourself, and then you second guess yourself on one thing. And if love can still be consequences when you're talking about your kids, how that then your brain in the middle of the night wants them when you can't sleep, it extrapolates that to every relationship and every friendship you ever had since you had friends. And next thing you know, you are decades in the past of, oh, maybe they didn't mean it that way. Maybe they weren't trying to be an asshole. Maybe I didn't understand the things. Then you go relive things, redefining things, giving up on anything, and waking up the next morning feeling like you're still a bad parent. It's crazy. It's crazy the things that we do to ourselves and what we put ourselves through, and usually in silence, because we don't
Yeah.
dare tell people that I feel like I'm failing my kids, and they're going to look at your kids as failures and tell you exactly where you're going wrong, like you need their help, like it's their job to judge you like they're perfect and they're not. It's a mess. We are unkind to people that show weakness. You know what I mean? We really and truly are. And so, and I said this before a few weeks back, if somebody trusts you in whatever moment with their weakest self, with the things they are not proud of, with the darkest parts of them, with their pain, with their sadness, it is a privilege. It shouldn't be a bother. It shouldn't be frustration. Okay. If you know them and they are one of your people, not if it's some random stranger on the street dumping their shit on you, because fuck those people. I am not the one to be everybody's strength. I maybe that makes me, suck, but whatever. But if somebody that you know is breaking down in front of you, telling you that they feel like a failure, and you're like, "Oh, I can see that," you're the asshole. You know, listen and be like, "Are your kids fed? Are they healthy? Are they doing all right in school? Yeah, okay, you're good." you know, we can only do what we can do, and um I think that social media, more than anything else in modern times, has really made um, mothers, especially, because I don't know from fathers at this point, mothers especially feel like they can't keep up with what the Facebook standard of motherhood is. But I'm here to tell everybody, if you didn't know, it's all bullshit. Because I know this Facebook mom, I know many, but I know this one who every day I spent 15 minutes cleaning my room, the living room from tip to tail, and that's all it took. And look, it's like a museum, sweetie. Behind that barn door to the family room is a giant mess of shit from the rest of her house that she took out of her living room so the living room could be pretty for Facebook. And when she shows you the family room tomorrow, that's because the living room's a mess. It is not the entire house. It is exactly curated to what you see, but it's definitely made to be like, and you can have a pristine house too with your 16 children. No, the fuck you can't. And that's okay. It is okay if your house looks lived in. It is okay if the kids were playing with toys and there's still toys on the floor. It is okay if it is not a museum every single flipping day. It is not okay if you've got a month's worth of laundry on the table where you can't eat, and then you have a month's, your week's worth of dishes and no clean surface for everything, and your kids are running around barefoot in the goat turds because, you know, you either do your dishes so that there aren't, squiggly things, and bathe your children so that they are not, you know, so that they're more sanitary, and I can't imagine. And this is like no lie. I live by, farms, and I would not let these two kids in my house ever, ever. I would give them snacks and all the things on my porch. They would no, because they're running all over town barefoot. I'm sorry. How long has my mic been off? They had goats and pigs in their yard, and I would watch them run through their yard with the goats and pigs, go into their house, come out of their house still barefoot with the goats and pigs, and then think they're going to run those little shit covered feet into my house. Hell no, I don't think so. And I did not know those parents. It is not my not my job to go over there and be all like sanitary and disgust. Maybe have some galoshes out here that they can play around in, leave outside, and go inside with not shit covered feet. Because they're going to raise their kids how they raise their kids. They go to school fairly clean. It's just after school they have no rules. Just not in my house.
No.
I am very judgy tonight. Apparently, I'm judgy every night. My bad.
Nah, not really. Hey, Rack. I'm gonna read the last back to school poem, or a semblance of that. If you want to pull any open poetry poem, we would love to do that.
You could read Dinosaur.
Okay. We will
Okay.
find dinosaur. Okay. This is Morning Panic by Sweet Pea. Running late for work. Bet there will be a paper jam in that printer again. Did I sign that permission slip? Is the baby at preschool and the dog at daycare, or is today the dog is at school and the baby is at daycare? My presentation is today. Did I grab that duck mouth thing? Cell phone. Oh my God, where's my cell phone now? Shoes, belt, and shirt all match. I have to stand and talk in front of a crowd. I might just die today. My boots look navy, not black. Traffic, morons left and right. What happens if some idiot hits me? Just some more things to panic me, here, there, and everywhere. But if I'm a wreck, I shall not panic. I am prepared. I'm always wearing clean underwear. End poem.
Thanks, Grandma.
Oh my goodness. And that's funny because when you've got those presentations outside of whatever is going on in the house, now you're stuck with whatever your choices were. And when you look and those black boots are navy, you're like, now I look like an idiot. And I'm gonna look like an idiot in front of all these people because this doesn't match that. And nobody gives a shit but us. But
But they're navy.
and we're like, I'm gonna be up there looking like a clown, and if I look like a clown, they're gonna think I'm a clown. Nobody's gonna listen. They're all gonna be making fun of me, and I still have to look like I have my shit together. And it's true, especially if we're running late, we're a little bit frazzled. All the things. I mean, who the hell has the nerve to call you? Don't they know that you're fully up your ass right at this moment? And the thing is, more often than not, with all of that, when the time comes to do what you got to do, you're as smooth as a cucumber. You're cool as a cucumber. It's smooth sailing. It's all the things. And then, after all that, you know what? These blue boots don't really look that bad today, But in the moment, it's all the things that could go wrong skew those scales and leans you towards all of that anxiety, that borderline panic of everything that could go wrong seems to be going wrong. Things that I didn't think about are now just problems and all of this stuff. And And in the grand scheme of things, after it's all done and it releases and you feel, 1,000 pounds lighter, like, oh, well, it didn't matter anyway. you know and that's only hindsight. That never comes before it's finished, which is a shame, because I think that life would be a lot easier if it did, you know so Raconteur, your thoughts.
I mean, everything focuses on the presentation on the moment, so it gives you something to focus on and concentrate on, and I guess to direct your insanity. Um, the idea of it, though, it's true. And at that moment, that's really kind of all that matters anyway. So, on the one hand, it almost sounds like you have your head screwed on straight, but I use the word I say almost because there's the other stuff that happens in the periphery that makes the logic a little more like you're getting a little out there. Reel it back in for a minute. You're good. You're trying too hard, or what is too hard. I mean, you want to succeed, but how far do you have to go? I mean, what do you have to do to make it work? So yeah, it's a lot.
Yes, it is. But the navy boots killed me.
In the Navy.
Oh, there we go.
All right, who's reading Dinosaur?
You read it.
I read it. Okay. Dinosaur by Raconteur. In the distance, hear that roar? Look out! It's a dinosaur! Now you better watch your back. Otherwise, he might attack. 2 tons heavy, 12 feet tall, armored hide, and teeth that maul. He certainly is an awesome sight, guaranteed to give a fright. Wait a minute, there was no roar. It's only Daddy at the door. End poem.
I love your author's notes. It's like, written for my son with his help. I'm assuming he was young, and that is freaking delightful. I love that. It's easy to read to your kids. Everybody says, read to your kid, read to your kid, read to your kid. But when you can get them to help you tell a story and write a whole little thing, that is just fully interactive joy right there. And I love this. And I love that you were all exuberant in your read. It was also lovely. But that, for my son with his help is the best thing flipping ever. I am just saying. I wrote my kid a book um
Hmm.
where I named the aunt after him, and it was all about his dad's job and all the stuff, and it was all freaking fabulous. And I don't even know what happened to it or where it is, but he was
Oh,
so excited that he was in a book, and he was so excited, and he told everybody, and he loved the story, and I had to read it to him like several times a night for the longest stinking time. And there's just something so beautiful in that, and that's what this feels like to me. It absolutely warmed my heart. It truly, truly did. Slightly unexpected and absolutely delightful. So, Sweet Pea, your thoughts?
I am like you. I love this. Um, it just screams fun with kids. It screams like everything, a little boy that loves dinosaurs. I can just see Murphy being just, a little younger when he was so much into dinosaurs and would know all the names of the dinosaurs and repeat them. And he would be like, oh, he would be so into this. And it would be just beautiful. And the fact you actually did it with your son has to bring so much joy to your heart. Um, Now you better watch your back, otherwise he might attack. And the teeth that maul and the armored high, but wait a minute, it's just dad at the door, all grumbly and roaring and be careful because he might bite. I just love that, and ends up being a description of a grumpy old daddy coming home from work, which might say something about you, but it's just really great. I can't even give it enough kudos to how fun that must have been, and how you know what an imagination your child has, and be able to work that with him is just got to be a great blessing. It's a wonderful, wonderful piece, just lovely. And you've got 86 people just throwing love at it. Very, 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 very good. All right. So did you throw anything up there for open, Miss Pretty Bird?
I didn't.
You didn't. Anything else? Or yeah, you're good.
I'm good.
You're good. All right. So, we've all got. What do you think about kids going back to school so early? Or is that kind of normal for Florida area? I don't know.
Yeah, it's normal for Florida. There's no we tend to go back second week in August, sometimes the first, depending on what they on how many hurricane days they anticipate. And what gets me is like it's normal to get out the first week in June, but like we got out last year on May 29th, and I was just like, that's just, but why? And because there weren't that many hurricane days, you know?
Right?
So, because everything is contingent upon how many days you have to take out of the school year to deal with um, power outages and storm damage and just the hurricanes itself, it's hard to gauge. But the earlier you start, the more time you can make up before without hindering summer. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's always been August. It's been as late as August 23rd, once or twice, but it's usually between like the 11th and like the 15th.
Huh.
So here's a funny bookended thing. Are you ready?
Yeah.
My oldest son's first day in kindergarten and my youngest son's last first day, like senior year, were both the same day.
Ah.
Well, here's what's weird about my world. So August 27th, mine is my nephew William's birthday. Happy birthday, my beautiful boy. And not that anybody would know who he is, but um, he is
Free
now the
Willy.
he is now the same age as his older brother, and stops being the same age as my son because the boys all run very very close in age. So my oldest son and my son are 13 and a half months apart. And then my oldest son and my brother's oldest son are 9 months apart. And then his oldest son and his youngest son, whose birthday is today, are 10 and a half months apart. So they've all run consecutively for, he's the same age as he for so many months, and then he's the same age as he for so many months. And then they're all like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So it's really a unique little agey thing. Yeah, so William gets to be the same age as a cousin and then the same age as his brother. He's never like his own age for any time of the year. Poor boy.
Y'all have been busy.
Yeah, we
It's
were.
funny. My two middle children are 15 months apart, something like that. And it took the younger of the two half of his life to be like, I thought I was 2 years apart. I thought that we were 1 year apart. I thought they were two. Yeah, for half the year. You've got about 3 months where you're 1 year apart or however much it is. And they're like, I don't understand. It's birthday math, sweetie. Ask me again later. I don't know how to explain it to you.
Ask me again later. Yeah, it was really funny because I'll throw my brother under the bus, but none of you know him. I was young when I had kids, and when I ended up being pregnant with my second one, my brother was like, "You didn't give your body time to rest. You didn't do this. You didn't do that." And so when
Mm.
his wife went in and asked for her 6 week checkup and was pregnant, I was like, "Oh, I feel sorry for you, honey. I really do." But I just laughed my ass off at my brother just because it was funny. Not for his wife, who I adore, but for him. But now they're all in their 40s, so now it's fine. But yeah, I just remember going to school like yeah, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and now they have all these different crazy. You have to be in school so many days, and snow days count, and this counts, and all of these things. So it's all weird. But hey, that's the way it is, I guess. I'm not the timekeeper. Never have been.
Are you pulling another poem, sweet?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna roll right into timekeeping. I guess I'll do this one because I'm complaining about it. You know, let's go there. I'm going to do this one. This. Send. Okay. All right. Since I don't know when our kids supposed to be going to school, I'll just talk about them all. So this is called A Season by Sweet Pea. Summer. We were lovers conceived on shots of Jack and Coke. Our bodies moved to our own beat, hair damp from heat. Your lips stayed silent while your eyes whispered all the dirty words you wanted tattooed upon my body. Fall. Nature colors the world in admonitory language. Gray skies call for rain. Bright red and orange leaves, a time for a change. Lovers flame and slow, rise to blaze and fade to ember, not to be put asunder, rest in the joy of another, without the rage of thunder. Winter. I solicited the gods to relinquish a mere moment of despair, frozen in the realities of my decision, housed forever, ever fair, head bowed, eyes down, a mortal asking, for a moment with the dead, a fool locked in a, a stagnant, without the wits to weave it outside my head. Wandering in the coldness, maybe we could abort on that hotel room floor so many years before. Spring, perennials bloom from ancient seeds, fresh beauty enhanced by generations of transgressions, near perfection, that soft evening breeze gently, kissing my skin and sings our melodies and memories when the sun turns to say, good night. I cannot recall the winter freeze as our fire blazes into the dawn. End poem.
You know, the seasons of love are a lovely thing, and you depicted them well. It's it's funny because it's not doesn't so much feel like seasons of a year, but seasons of a life. You know, you've got younger when you were summer, and it's all the shots and the sweat and the all the things where you get looked at like you're going to be devoured, and then time passes
Ah.
and it's and it's fall, and the novelty settles into that nice warm radiating heat, and it is comfortable and lovely. And then further on down the road, you know,
Mhm.
it's life. It is sometimes the fire flickers and it's cooler than it was, and it's all the shadows of the darkness that aren't lit by that fire, and it's doubt, but it's also still love, but it's doubt. And then the sun comes out and it's warm again on its own in small ways that want to render new life. And I find that to feel like a lifetime and not just a year, and it's lovely. So raconteur, your thoughts?
I mean, I like the idea of not being able to keep your hands off of each other. It reminds me of when I was younger too. And the the feeling of abandon, the I won't say devil may care, but the attitude of I'm not going to worry about it. I just come be with me, come it's a comforting thing. It's something I think that you no matter how old you get, you crave, and this is a beautiful depiction of it. It's a time when you're a team, and you want to be with each other, and not so much that there's no wrong, but that there's no space. Even when you're apart, you still feel like you're together. You're always thinking of each other. It's lovely. I mean, don't know what else to say.
You're muted.
I told Rack he was lovely too, and I was muted. That's not good. Thank you guys very much. We do have things coming up outside of back to school in the middle of summer. We've got things coming. So, what is coming up on Tuesday next week?
On Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, it is Everybody Needs a Shrink. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. And since crazy is subjective, we really all have our moments. Whether we are misconstrued or pushed to the edge of sanity, we've all been off our game at some point. So, in a world where we can still feel invisible, surrounded by people, we could all use someone to talk to. These days, there's an app for that. Crazy or not, sometimes everybody needs a shrink.
Absolutely, if that's not the truth. Or just admit you're crazy. And 9/3, we've got Summer Loving, which is the following Thursday. Pretty sweet. He's going to be doing Summer Loving, and that is Summer Loving is a whirlwind of swamp ass and romance with long days and magical nights that spark connection. Summer is the season for adventurers. I cannot. Summer, the things that summer does to us. So I cannot wait for that. And of course, we've got a lot of things coming up in September, and then we're going to go into October, which is a great month.
Spooky season.
Yes, this spooky season. So we are all up and planning that for you guys. Look forward to that month. Beware, beware. Matter of fact, if you want to go back to last spooky season, there is some great stuff um, wandering around there at Podbean. Um, we did the Seven Deadlies last October, and you can go to prettysweet.podbean.com and put look those up. Those are some really
Yay!
um, trust me, those are some really great shows. And our side pieces on the Seven Deadlies are a lot of fun to listen to.
Well,
And again,
you've mentioned side pieces twice. Let's tell them what they are because we haven't done one since we've been. Well, we have, I guess. We did the side pieces for Holy Hell Week in April. Okay, so our regular shows are these shows. They're all live. Our side piece shows are generally a little bit shorter and they are pre-recorded. They are not with other people able to join us in the studio, and they are usually, our discussion that accompanies a particular live show. They're kind of like special events. So now you know.
And she just muted.
yes, I did because I had Barky Dog. And they are a pink corset, little picture, and not the red shoes, but everybody loves a side piece. So that is the side pieces. And they're a lot of fun to listen to because we definitely have fun just having the conversations about them. So we have the
Everything's fun to listen to.
this is true, but I mean, you know what I meant. It's just a lot of fun for me and Pretty Bird to sit down and well, we have fun doing this too. But they're just a lot of giggles, um, and trust me, Pretty Bird has some great moments in our side pieces.
I
Uh,
rant on, is what she's saying.
No, she has great moments. I'm telling you. Oh, the
These are
lust.
the
I
moments.
love the lust side piece. It's just fabulous. Okay, so if you okay, I got lost track because I was thinking of the lust. I'm thinking lust, but who am I not? We are on Facebook. We are on X, formerly Twitter, and we are on YouTube. You can listen to us live on Tuesdays and Thursdays um, at 10 p.m. Eastern, United States. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun with that. We would love to hear you. So grab the chat wall on that. Send us messages. We read them. Like, follow, share, give us hearts, give us sad, give us whatever you want, and we'll take it. Um, that's the kind of girls that we are. Um, let's see. You can listen to hours and hours at pretty sweet .podbean.com. And let's
We
see
had
what
a
we
lot of fun.
Not yet.
yeah.
So you can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. Just type in Pretty Sweet, PRTTY Sweet. Follow the red shoes and listen to us for hours. And now we can get to that part.
Okay, and now we'll get to that part. I just want to make sure I covered all my bases. I did pretty good. And we had a great time tonight. We hope that you did too. But if you did not, you can, of course, fuck
Fuck all
off.
the
Fuck
way off.
all the way out.
Yes.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.